Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We made it, or most of us made it. We're here to talk about Saw 3D, also known as Saw 7, or Saw the Final Chapter, or the Saw that was after Saw 6. Coriander's with
Wow.
me. Killian hopefully will be with us in a second with some technical difficulties. But tonight we're going to be talking about this movie and very, very interesting stuff as we continue our foray into the Saw franchise. It's been a lot of fun every week talking about these movies. Real quick, before I get to you, Coriander, let's see what we have in the chat. Strange Monkey is in the chat saying, I want to fight Hoffman every time I watch these movies. Right. What's up? Happy's in the chat. The opening of
Hey.
this with the two dudes and the saw and the lady hanging above them is hilarious. The acting, the lines, all of it. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely hilarious. I can't handle how damn funny the opening is. Okay. Let's see. Russell's in the chat. What's going on?
Hello.
And we got Val's in
Hey.
the chat. We look at this. Pictures is in the chat. Hashtag
Nice.
Hoffman not officially dead. I love that. Twisted Pictures itself. Wow. All right. Uh, hey, what's going on, Danny? Yeah, I'm still sick, but I made it. We had some technical difficulties though, so that's why we started late. But thank you guys for hanging out. We appreciate it. We got Ginger Ninjas in the chat. What's going on? What's going on?
Hey.
My man Michael's in the chat. Movies and beyond.
Hello.
All right. What's going on? What's going on? This is my design in the chat. What's up? Saying let's talk
Nice.
some Saw. All right. Good to see you, man. All right. Twisted Picture saying years back, actor Costas Mandylor himself said he had an idea how to escape the bathroom trap, and it would be epic. I agree.
Mm,
There's
nice.
definitely a chance. All right, that's too funny. Oh wow. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Um,
Hello.
I think that the writers of Saw 4 and Saw 7, along with the current writers of Jigsaw and Spiral, need to all sit down and have a meeting along with Costas Mandylor and Tobin Bell. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Real quick, let's just get your quick take on this movie, Coriander. What's a quick take for you for Saw 7?
This was a fun one. They're all fun, but this one, the characters, I don't know, it was different. It was
Mm-hmm.
different with this one. So, but it was good. It was fun and I enjoyed it.
All right. Yeah, for me, I think that this one was definitely it was interesting because it had to do a lot of things. At the time, it was truly the final chapter, and they had to tie up so many loose ends, and I think they
Mhm.
did a pretty good job of that. And obviously, we'll get to that point as well. But there was some good stuff in it, and of course, for me, this is basically that third part of what I call the Hoffman trilogy, where you just see what Mark is able to do. Can he
Mhm.
can he make it through all this? He's plotting
Yeah.
revenge. He's trying to stay innocent and not get caught, and it's just really, really crazy stuff, man. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Um, Jordy's in the chat too. What's going on?
Hello.
Saying, hope you're feeling better now. Thank you so much. Uh, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. We'll see. But we're going to take a quick second, get finished getting set up, and hopefully have a few other people jump into the chat. So for you guys in the chat, for you guys watching the replay, sit back, relax. You know what time it is. There it is.
I'm surprised you showed that
I'm
actually.
surprised too, man. We're going
Wow, you
spoilers,
are
baby.
sick. Holy shit.
Let's go with this thing, man. So this movie starts off, and look, first of all, the ending of 6 to me was just epic. Just seeing how Hoffman was able to get out of, I like to call it the Amanda trap, the bear trap. Um,
Yeah.
we had no idea what was going to happen. All we knew is that half of his face was ripped off. But we did
Yeah.
see what he did. He did some Rambo style stuff. What did you think of the beginning showing Hoffman?
Getting out of that trap, I mean, that is tough. He
Right.
is like one tough motherfucker and
He is.
one person I would not want to run into in the street. So
Right.
just to like bump into him or anything, I wouldn't want him to know what I looked like because I don't want to wake up in a fucking trap.
That's
Nope.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then of course, we open up with this whole new thing, basically with this love triangle gone wrong. And I
Mm,
thought this was actually and it was mentioned in the live chat just a few minutes ago how it had a Happy was talking about how it was, kind of funny. And I think it was kind of played a little bit for
yeah.
comedic value, you know what I'm
The
saying? Which
bitch
was
deserved it
interesting.
though, so,
Well, yeah,
you
that's
know.
true too, but, just the way that it all came off, it was actually pretty funny, man. Real quick, Kale's in the chat. What's going on? What's going on? Uh, Twisted Picture saying, "When do you think that they'll start production on Saw 10?" Uh, I would think it would be very soon because supposedly it's gonna be out next October. So I would definitely think within the next 2-3 months, it should be. That's my thought on it. But if there's any news about it, we'll definitely be talking about it because I'm really
So
excited.
is Chris Rock gonna be in this one? Is
We don't know.
no one
At
knows?
least or at least
Hmm.
there's nothing that I know about,
Hmm.
so
He should like
but
wake up in a trap or something.
I don't
No
know.
hate.
I
I'm just
don't know.
saying it'd be interesting to see him play the game and what he'd do. So
Right, right. That would be something.
yeah.
Um, the Saw in 3D was epic, right? Uh, this is my design saying, "I love Hoffman, my favorite character." Right? I know, man. Hoffman,
Yeah,
Costas Mandalore, man.
he's good. I
Yeah, he
mean,
is.
Jigsaw's is smart and created all this shit, but he's really carrying this out. And
He
well,
is.
a bunch of people are, but he's like the second hand, really. So
Right.
yeah, it's it,
Yeah.
it yeah, he's a real great character.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And we saw that when he escaped from the bear trap, that Jill saw that and she just,
Yeah.
she ran out of there, which was
I was
smart.
even like, that bitch should have stayed until his head was fucking ripped open. And
Yep.
then,
Yep.
this shit wouldn't happen. But
But I mean, well,
oh
there's
well.
nothing that she could have really done though, because she saw him
Well,
anyways. Like, well,
she
she didn't
did,
have a
but
gun or anything. I mean, he would have ripped his face out anyways, and nothing that she could have done to really
no,
stop
she
that.
could have like stopped him from doing something. She could have found something to hit him and knock him out or do
But
something to,
remember But
hmm.
remember when she came there, that was his little headquarters, so she really just came there with the trap. Like, she didn't really that wasn't her area, in other
My
words. That
point
was that
is
was his
she
little
left
place.
before the job was done, and that was her mistake.
Yeah,
Because
but
look
she
at her
still
now.
saw it. Yeah. But that dream sequence that she had, that was pretty that was pretty cool because I love it when he said he says, "I only
Yeah.
get the chance to kill you once." And I was just like, "Oh my god, man." And, of course, the way that she was just ripped in half, that was just crazy stuff, man.
But if you
Um,
think about it, we get to see her, get tortured and ripped in half, and, then what really happens. And
yeah,
so we're the lucky ones.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, Ginger Ninja saying, "This was my least favorite trap. I didn't see how it fit into the Saw series. Maybe I missed something." The triangle trap, yeah, I could understand that. I could
But it
understand
was a
that. Other
dream
other
too,
than
right?
no, no, no,
So,
talking I think well, I don't
oh,
know if I think Ginger Ninja's talking about that first trap with the triangle, the 2
oh,
guys and the girl.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
that's the
Gotcha.
case, the only thing that I was thinking was he wanted to do something that was, in front of people and live, you know what I mean? So that's the only thing that came to my mind, but I get what you mean, though. It is kind of a little bit different, you know what I'm saying? Kinda outside of what the other traps have been like, you know? What's up, Wayne?
Hello.
Chat. Now it's dark saying, "I think I read something about the Saw movie being between 2 of the previous films where Jigsaw was still alive." I've heard that rumor too. Yeah. Yep. I've heard that rumor too. I'm assuming that's really the only way that they can do it, you know? Twisted Picture saying, "I think one of the worst traps to be in is the bathroom trap, besides John Kramer's personal favorite, the rack." Yeah, yeah, those are some bad ones. I definitely wouldn't wanna be in the bathroom either. What do you think, Coriander?
Like I said, I wouldn't want to be in any of them. So, yeah,
Right? Yeah.
that's my answer.
Yep. Um, let's see. Jordy saying, which is the Saw film with the box Costas Mandalore ends up in as the last Saw I watch? In the box. Well, he's in the
That was
bathroom.
the no 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 at the end, right, when he's in the glass like coffin. That was what,
Oh, okay, that's Saw
5?
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And thanks outside the nine. We appreciate that.
Right?
Very cool. Um, and Ninja was talking about the triangle trap. Yeah, I get what you
Okay.
mean. Yeah, I get it. Jill Tuck's dream trap was awesome. It was, man. It really was. What's up, Jason? Sean's in the chat. What's up? Saying, what's up, Knight? Love the content. Found you through the collective. You got yourself a new sub. Smash the like. Well, thank you so much. We really
Nice.
appreciate it. It's
Welcome.
very, very
Yeah.
cool. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. We're going through the Saw franchise and it's been a fun journey. And this is our
Yep.
7th week. There's a lot of
Yeah.
commitment to it. But thank you so
How
much
many
and
more?
welcome.
One more? Is it one
Two
more?
more. Two
Two?
more.
Okay.
Yeah, two more. Yeah, I'd love to see a sequel to Spiraled as well. Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see what the new movie does. Because it might tie multiple things together. We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Um, but yeah, so now with this movie, and I thought this was really interesting. The last movie I thought, made a lot of important points, but this movie is a little bit different in that, Coriander, because we meet this guy who seems to be like this self-help guru,
Mm.
this guy named Bobby Dagan. And his big thing is talking about how surviving the traps can empower you and use it to better your life. And he's got a whole
Yeah.
team around him, his best friend, his publicist, his lawyer, and his wife, and all these
Yeah.
types of things. And he's on talk shows and he's spreading the gospel. When you first saw this movie, and you've only seen this movie twice, so I want to make sure I
Right.
say that to the folks watching, because I think it brings a very fresh perspective to our conversation. When you first saw this,
Hmm.
what were you thinking of in those scenes where you first meet Bobby and he's on the talk show and he's talking about how, surviving the trap changed his life and he was thankful for it and all that type of stuff?
I mean, when I saw him put that performance on, I was like, wow, this poor guy, he, he survived it. It obviously did a little trauma to him
Yeah,
but look at him now, he overcame it and
right,
it's like good for him. And then you see him, when they like take a break and one chick was almost like you're kind of overacting or playing it
right,
up too much. And I'm trying to think like what? Because I had forgotten like, really what goes on in this movie. So yeah, I thought,
right.
I was the believer. I thought, wow, this dude, good for him, the
Yeah,
survivor,
yeah. But also showing, the ins and outs of Hollywood, and talk shows and things
Yeah,
like that. People are prepped, before.
yeah,
I mean, just like us, we do this episode and it's unscripted, but we watched the movie, you know what I mean?
right.
So just like with his interview, he knew the bullet points of what he was going to say because he was prepped for it. So it was, in other words, it was really showing a parallel to real life, which I thought was interesting. The thing
Yeah,
about these movies, and some people look at it as just simply horror or simply torture porn or simply just, oh, those Saw movies. And yeah, I can get that, but they
mm,
do dive a little bit deeper than your average horror movie, especially at that time through the 2000s.
mhm,
Um, but I thought his character was really, really interesting, and when I first saw it, I didn't know what to think of him. I was just kinda like, "Oh,
yeah.
well, that's kind of interesting." Let's go to a couple of these traps here too, Coriander. Let's start with the trap with the good old group of those fun racists.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, yeah,
Now, of course,
obviously.
we all know who this is. This
Yes,
th
rest in peace.
Yes. Yes. So for people that don't know, this is Chester Bennington,
Yeah,
the lead vocalist of Linkin Park.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, he was playing this leader of this group. Yeah, he just passed away like 5 years ago.
yeah,
But he was playing the leader of this group of just these punks. They were racist, they were bigots, and so forth and so forth. But he's literally glued to the seat and he has to pull himself away by basically ripping his skin off. Again, he has issue with skin tone and stuff like that. So Jigsaw makes sure he hits you where it hurts, right? But he has to
Yeah.
pull himself off of there to pull a lever to save his friends. He's got his one girlfriend that's literally underneath of one of the wheels and so forth. What did you think of this trap? Because it was three people involved, actually four.
Four. Yeah.
Yeah, four.
Yeah, all these people in my book, yeah, they got what they deserved. And
Mm,
I'm glad, the driver there put himself through that pain to fail because
hmm
they all deserved it. So it was very enjoyable seeing that chick's head get busted open
Oh
and
yeah,
that dude's jaw get ripped off and then that other buddy just
yeah.
gets smashed into. So
He
very
he was the lucky
enjoyable.
one. All he got was just being hit by the car. He was lucky to
Exactly.
me. The
Right?
other one, rough,
They
man.
got the shit. Exactly.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Russell saying that he owns all the saws. All right,
Nice.
very cool. Um, let's see. Happy was saying, I think four is my favorite. Seven isn't my least, but definitely near the bottom. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I also want to catch up here. We got Nanette is in the chat. What's going on? What's going
Hello.
on? She said, "Would you do a watch party of the Saw movies after you've talked about the movies?" The- I
Dang.
never say never, but I don't know because that's a
We
lot.
just, yeah, because we're just watching them and then to watch them again,
That's true
I don't
too.
know. At
Yeah.
least for me, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Because one thing, yeah, that is a good point. I'm glad you said that because we definitely watch any movie we talk about on the
Yeah.
channel. That's just a rule, and it makes
Yeah.
sense. We want to know what we're talking about, so we definitely watch it. And I mean, there's movies I know backwards and forwards, and I'll still watch
Definitely.
it. I'll still watch
Definitely.
it before we go live with it, just to make sure that we're situated.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, definitely rest in peace. No doubt
Yeah.
about that. It was a great group. Cody's in the chat too. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you, Cody. Um, but let's move on. Yeah, that was a really crazy trap. But here was a funny, and I don't want to say funny, but this was an interesting scene because Bobby has to go to a self-help group, like a survivors group, so to speak. And he's in this church, you got all these people, and we saw a couple of people that we recognized, Coriander. We saw
Yeah.
the guy from saw 4. Is it from 4?
Yeah.
No,
I think,
5. I'm sorry, 5.
yeah. I don't know
Um,
what
we
they're
saw
from,
yeah, we
but I
saw
recognize them.
the lady who chopped her arm off in 6
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so forth. What did you and of course, and I'll get to who the big reveal in this scene was, but what did you think of this
Yeah.
scene, Coriander?
Again, it's just showing you the survivor trying to help other survivors, at least you think,
That's right.
so it's
Yep.
like, good for this guy, because we
Yeah, I
think
mean,
everybody needs a little support sometimes. So
that's
it's,
true.
you're
And
thinking this is a pretty good guy.
right, and Bobby he's very charismatic.
Yeah.
He definitely knows how to talk to people, and
Hmm.
he's very convincing. But he was so convincing, and of course, he's got his handlers there and stuff too. But guess who shows up at the group? Coriander. Somebody starts giving a rousing applause, and
Yeah.
who is it but Dr. Gordon
Duh.
himself, Carrie Elways from
Yeah.
Saw 1, all the way from the very first friggin' movie.
Yeah.
And, he's clapping his hands and,
Yeah.
speaking praises of Bobby and this and that. And when I first saw this movie, I was like, uh-oh. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
What did
definitely.
you think of that reveal?
I was surprised because you saw, bits and pieces about him, but you didn't really know if he survived or not.
Yes, right.
So it was like, no shit. So yeah, I
Yes.
enjoyed that reveal. Yeah,
Yes, yes, and I'm a big fan of Carrie Elwes anyways.
right?
And as soon as you saw him, I was thinking, "Oh, this is not gonna be good," because, he obviously and he's walking with a limp,
Mm,
he's got his cane, which makes sense because he did chop his foot off. or saw
Yeah.
his foot off, I should say. So that was like a big reveal, man. I was just like,
Yeah.
whoa, what's going on? Real
Yeah.
quick, too, in the chat, just to catch up to these guys, we got Ralph in the chat saying, "What's up, Night? Glad I could catch you live. Hey, thank you so much. Welcome, welcome." And also, just to remind folks, if you get a chance, please hit the like button if you haven't already. It definitely supports the channel, and we'd really like to appreciate it. And of course, super chats are greatly appreciated as well. Um, but yeah, it was a big reveal. It really was.
Yeah.
Julie's in the chat too. I finally made it to a live. Hi, what's going on,
Nice.
Julie? Nice to see you.
Hello.
Julie's a fan of Saw and had been making
Nice.
comments on some of our videos. So yeah,
Very
Saw
cool.
3D. Yeah. Sean saying the story is a lot more complex than most other horror franchises. The continuity is pretty damn good. The traps and twists in this franchise are amazing to say the least. We both
Yeah.
agree with that. We really,
Yeah.
really do. Yes. I mean, it's got a lot of great stuff going on.
It
It
does.
does. Yes. Yes, Dr. Gordon. Yes, yes, yes. Um, but let's go to this other thing because Bobby is obviously there's something going on with him. Okay.
Yeah.
So after this the self-help group, him and his team kind of split off. His wife goes, before him, and his best friend and him are talking, and I knew at that point something was going to happen, and of course they get kidnapped. He wakes up, and guess what? He This is going to be a game for him. He's going to be in some traps, man. And it was really, really interesting because one of the first things that you realize is that he has never ever been tested. He had never been
Yeah.
in a trap. That's one of the first things that Jigsaw says. And I was
Yeah.
like, uh-oh, this is
Yeah.
really bad news. And his
Definitely.
wife, yeah, and his wife is actually being
Yeah.
held prisoner. So
Mhm.
he has to go through the traps in 60 seconds or else
And
she's gonna
she's
die.
innocent in all this. Honestly, out
That's
of
right.
all these people, she's the innocent one. So
Right.
yeah, man.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. So, these traps, and I knew as soon as they said he was going to be in the game, I knew they were going to get the lawyer and
Mm.
the publicist and so forth. And sure enough, that's what we have. Let's start with one of these first traps here. This was really, really creative, man, because the key to get
Yeah.
her out of this trap is inside of her stomach. And he has
Yeah.
to pull the hook up
Yeah.
through her throat. But the
Yeah.
more she makes noise, the more that the machine goes in motion. Like with no noise, the machine doesn't move, and of course it hurts. So it's a constant thing. It was so gross. What did you think of this trap?
This was, I mean, they were all a lot of fun to watch. And
Right, right.
this one you're like, oh, because damn, to have to be quiet when someone is running, ripping a hook up through, your stomach and your throat.
Yes.
Oh man, it was like, yeah, you gotta shut this bitch up, man. Or yeah,
And
those
that's what he kept saying. Shut
I
the
know.
fuck up.
Right, right. Yeah. It was a great one. It was fun to watch.
Oh man, it was rough. And then of course, you knew she wasn't going to survive it. And then of course,
Yeah.
I mean, she literally got stabbed all throughout the
Yeah, she
neck and
did.
everything. It was rough, man. This was a really creative one because it was really all about sound. Speak no
Yeah.
evil. Is what he was
Yeah.
trying to imply there. It was pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
But the other thing too that we haven't mentioned is Jill is trying to have protection against Hoffman. So she goes, to the cops, and I think it was internal affairs, if I'm not mistaken, but she finds someone who knows Hoffman. And so there's this other side
Yeah.
story going on with her basically trying to get immunity and all these types of
Mm-hmm.
things. And it was pretty interesting because you're trying to figure out, okay, what what what's on Hoffman? There's some more stuff. There's some more dirt on him, and you
Mm-hmm.
have this guy who knows Hoffman. So that's usually how these movies work. You've got the traps,
Yeah.
you got something going on, and then of course some flashbacks of sorts. And so this was
Yep.
kind of the stuff happening in real time. Did you think there was any chance for Jill to survive Hoffman?
You know, no, not really. because he's good. And I mean, him, we haven't gotten to there yet, but him just
Yeah.
trying to get to her to where she was like, yeah, mm, you know,
Wow.
she had no hope. She knew
Right.
she was fucked if she didn't get protection. So,
That's right.
yeah,
Yep. Absolutely. And Val saying 22 likes. Thank you so much. All right. Way to go. Julie saying 7 has my least favorite game. Every trap seemed intentionally or maybe unintentionally funny, especially the one where Bobby has to put the hooks in his pecs. Yeah, I had a feeling when I first saw it, I had a feeling that he was going to make him do that because that's what
yeah,
Bobby was
definitely.
saying in the book. He was saying
Mm-hmm.
that was the trap that he supposedly had survived. So yeah, oh
Yep.
my gosh. Um, Jordy said, "I'm getting looks of Ziggy and getting tired, so gonna watch in bed now." Oh, that's too funny.
Sounds like it's
Uh,
some good stuff.
right? But then you also had the other trap where you basically have him. It's like a machine at the gym where you basically work your calves, and he has to lift it up so that she doesn't rotate into basically these other pipes that are gonna like stab her in the eyes and through the mouth. Man, this was a crazy trap as well, and it was all
Mm,
on him. It was all on Bobby as far as he had to hold up the weight long enough
yeah.
for the timer to run down. This was a rough one too, man. Would you think of
Oh,
this trap?
yeah. Definitely, because as he's holding that up, he's having those pull things poking into his sides, and who knows how
Yes.
deep they're going. So it's not like
Right.
it's just him trying to be too weak to lift something too heavy. He had
Yeah.
pain. Every, person he tried to save, he himself endured some type of torture. So, but that always happens. So it's like, yeah, it was tough, but
Ha-
all these people deserved it. So
yeah.
they all
Well,
do. And
yeah,
in
yeah,
some
they
way or
did. I
another,
mean,
they all do.
yeah, I mean, of course, with publicists and the lawyer, I think the lawyer did know, but the publicist might not have known that he was lying. But either way, you're right. They
I
were
don't know.
part of his army, so to speak.
Yeah,
But
they were.
the trap that I thought was really messed up was the one with his best friend who was blindfolded, and Bobby was supposed to kind of guide him just by voice where to step, or else his friend was going to be hung by the rope
Yeah.
around his neck and so forth. That one was really crazy because it's almost like, man, is there any way that they could have done that successfully? You know, that was a crazy trap.
He should have, instead of, he should have got a little bit closer to him if he could have, instead of throwing it to him, too.
Yeah,
It's like that's impossible too, to try to catch something and for you to
right.
hit it that spot just right. And I mean, come on, that was doomed for failure. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Sean saying it was grim stuff to see the bear trap go off. It was, man. Yeah, man. It was rough stuff, man. No doubt. Danny, it's a travesty. The stream only has 15 people. This is quality entertainment. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Uh, it depends. We've had some of these episodes have had more or less. I think this is still a good entry into the franchise, even though it's the seventh movie.
Yeah.
I think it still has a lot of
And
great
it's a
stuff in it.
Friday night. Who
Yeah.
knows what people are up to?
Yeah, that's true too. But the other thing, what's going on too, is we also see how all of this came together. How
Yeah.
in the beginning, when Bobby first saw someone who was a survivor of the
Hmm.
traps and was talking about how it changed their life and so forth, and it basically was showing how he got the idea to do this because his friend beside him, his best buddy,
Yeah.
was basically saying, "Man, people can make a lot of money off of this if they did it right, if
See,
they
I
had
thought
the
they
right
were
angle."
strangers at that point. I didn't know that they were buddies,
Well, I don't know if they were buddies at that time. I mean, they
but
put it
they
this way,
became,
they were
definitely. Yeah.
comfortable with each other because, I
Well,
don't know,
hey,
maybe they
if
weren't.
you're at a bar just by yourself and you drink, you people talk with,
Yeah.
strangers,
Yeah.
especially if you're
Yeah.
drunk.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. But let's also get to obviously at the end when Bobby does have to do something with his dental work, and I know you
Oh,
hated this scene, But in order to get to his wife, he was in a room where he had to get the
Yeah.
combination to open the door, a digital combination, and the codes were on two of his teeth. He literally had to pull out his teeth to
Yeah,
get the
I did.
combination. What did you think of that scene? It was it was pretty rough, man. It was a lot of
Yeah.
bleeding.
Yeah, it's not so much the blood that bothers me, it's just the noise of the teeth and, the
Yeah.
scrapes and it's
Hmm.
no. And it was he was quick about it, and that's one way and rough. I'm surprised because if he broke your tooth, well, I guess it's easy to figure out how to piece it together, but
That's right.
I mean, it could mess up a number and you could fuck it up, but yeah, he got the job done and he
Yeah, he did.
almost, he got through the door, so
He did, man. And then he comes face to face with his wife. And at the same
yeah.
time that that's happening, and we're trying to figure out, is he going to be able to save her? Well, at the same time, you have this whole thing with Hoffman coming to a head because he's literally been trying to get to Jill. He's been moving one step
Yes.
closer, one step closer.
Mm.
His buddy there, he's trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. But Hoffman is like three steps ahead of everyone in this movie, which I
Yes.
actually liked,
Hmm.
and we'll get to the end, but he found his way into the department where Jill was being supposedly in a safe place.
Yeah.
And man, it was just he was just taking people out right and
Game
left.
on. Yeah,
It
man.
was Yeah, it was seriously game on. What did you think about this whole thing with Hoffman once he was in the department, how he was taking people out? He's literally just stabbing people right and left.
He was. It
Yeah, he
was a
was.
great scene because he was on a mission and nothing was going to stop him. And
Yes.
he wasn't even going to, you know, knock someone out or, you know,
Yeah.
break a couple of legs so they can't really move. He was fucking killing them. So yeah, man, this was a great scene and it just showed you how smart and tough and
Yeah.
just yeah, one bad motherfucker, you
He
know.
was, man. He
Yeah.
was. And he ultimately got Jill and
Yeah,
subdued
I
her and put
did.
her in the chair just like he
Yeah.
was at the end of 6, and got the bear
Yep.
trap for her, man. And I was like, "Oh, no."
We
And
all
when I
knew
first
that was
saw this
coming.
True, yeah, and when I first saw this movie, I was like, "Oh, are you serious, man?" I mean,
Yeah.
so
It's like he
so these
saved it, right? Because in the beginning, when he took it off,
Yes.
he made sure when he got that thing for his face, he grabbed that. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yep. Absolutely. And of course, while that's happening, you have Bobby that comes face to face with his wife, but then you have this flashback, and there's always these flashbacks where you actually see the connection. You
Yeah.
see where John came to Bobby's, and man, and he
Yeah.
basically said, "Do you think it's right to lie about certain things?" And so, how Tobin Bell gets. Tobin Bell again,
Yeah.
definitely not enough screen time in this particular movie, which was too bad. But whenever he is on screen, he's absolutely fantastic, and he was great in
Mm.
this scene too. What did you think of this scene? Because I thought he was literally, without saying, "Hey, I'm Jigsaw, and I know you
Yeah.
haven't been through a trap." He almost just basically came out and said that to him.
Yeah, this was an enjoyable scene because yeah, he almost was I like, just how it all played out and
Yeah.
how, he's like even like, keep your picture. I don't need it. I know what you look like and
Yes.
it was he's Tobin Bell. He's like so good in this character and it's
Yes.
always fun to see him when he interacts with people before they even know what's going to happen to him.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
He's literally an icon, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Seriously, he is an icon, man. Real quick too, in the chat, we'll just catch up here. M Green, in the chat saying it's finally Friday.
That's
Yes,
right.
that's right. Russell saying it's an awesome franchise. I agree.
Yeah.
Ninja saying Saturday morning coffee in hand, working away and enjoying the conversation. Hey, thanks a lot,
Nice.
man. We appreciate that. We definitely
Right?
appreciate it. Danny saying tomorrow is opening night of the haunted house me and my wife work at. Oh, that's cool.
Ooh, that
Very
is
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Jason saying I'm so excited to see Halloween ends night. Yeah, me too. Me
Yeah, I can't
too.
wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Russell saying Hoffman was just paying Jill back for Saw 6. Yeah, that's a good
Yes.
point.
Yep.
That was the worst death in the franchise. For Jill, it was pretty bad. At least in the
I
way they
think the
showed it,
Yeah,
that
I
was pretty
think
bad.
that dude's wife there and who got out crispy, I think that was the worst
Yeah.
one.
Well, yeah, and yeah, we'll get to that one too.
I jumped,
Um,
but
that's all right. Twisted Picture saying, when it comes to surgical traps, how could Mark Hoffman have not suspected other apprentices John Kramer had in place? Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, because you got to wonder, but it's just
I
one of
never
those
did
things.
though. I
It's one
never
of those
wondered
things.
how did, Jigsaw do all this shit because look at the traps he's inventing. He's
Well,
so
he's an
smart
engineer.
to begin exactly. But he's just smart and can figure shit out. So that really never, entered my mind, at least when I was watching these.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true too. They definitely set it up in a way where you truly do believe that he can do that stuff. And of course, the original outline was to have Gordon come back. It might have been, but not as far as I know. But they made it work though because it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I actually love about it, to be honest. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, Jill, she takes it, man. It's
Mm.
messed up, and of course Bobby, having to put those hooks into his chest, lift himself
Yeah.
up to connect the
Yeah.
cords to free his wife, and he gets so close to doing it. And you know
Yeah.
what? I bet you the way that this trap was set up, I bet you that they knew there was no way that his pecs could hold his weight, because as soon as he was trying to reach for the cords, he just the hooks
Yeah.
just ripped through his chest. It was
But he
crazy,
took
man.
kind of a little bit of time to get up there too. If he was quicker on those chains to get himself up to the power,
Yeah,
those two power cords, he
yep.
could have done it because he was right there.
He
And
was,
yeah,
but
man,
he was also hurt in so many of these traps, and that's
he
the other
was.
thing too.
He
I
was.
think part of the craziness and sadistic nature of it is that, like, he's being hurt as he's
They're
going
just
through
set to
this.
fail, every
Yes, just like Will was in 6. Each
yeah,
trap that Will went through, he was hurt, and
yeah,
injured, same thing with
yeah.
Jeff in 3, so
That's why they
but,
should give him more time. That's where Hoffman is fucking up because Jigsaw gave you enough time where, okay, if you survive, you survive. You may get a little
mm.
scrape or you may have to cut your arm off, but at least, you don't, well, no, that's not what I kind of wanted to say, the whole cut your arm off, but that defeats the purpose. But
Right.
anyway, you know where I was
I
going
know
with
what you
this.
mean. I know what you mean. But so obviously, I mean, you're right, man. He doesn't do it in time, and this thing
Yeah.
basically closes in on her, and it's basically like an oven.
Easy bake oven. Yeah,
Easy
man.
bake oven, man. It was horrible. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Seriously. It was rough. It was rough. And
Yeah.
she got
Yeah.
crisped up, man. It was too bad.
I bet yeah, pew.
It
Just
was
think how
it was
stinky it would
rough,
be.
man. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Twisted Pitch saying, on Hoffman's killing spree in the police station, wouldn't there be cameras set in place throughout the building? You would think. Well, he did tap into their security system. That's why he was able to watch them. So, at least by the logic they gave us, I would assume he was able to
And by
disable.
then, they all knew who they were after.
Yeah,
So
he
even
was
if he was on
planning.
camera, I don't think
Yeah,
he gave a fuck.
yeah, he was planning to leave the country or whatever. Anyways, you saw all the IDs that he had and all that type of stuff too. But let's get to the end of it. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this
Yeah.
thing. Hoffman does what he has to do. Jill is
Yeah.
dead. The whole department is dead. His
Yeah.
his old buddy is dead because he has like an automatic gun that just shoots them all dead. All these cops. Hoffman is literally
Yeah.
killing dozens
Killing
of people.
everybody,
And you're
right?
thinking in the movie, I'm thinking, man, he is so far ahead of everyone. Something's got to happen. And sure enough, it does. All of a sudden, out of the blue, these
Yeah.
three hooded, with the pig heads, they come out and they
Yeah.
they grab him, they stab him, and sure enough, the one that pulls off the mask You know who it is. It's our old buddy,
Duh.
Dr. Gordon. Are
Yep.
you serious? What?
Yep.
And it ends, and I thought it was very poetic because the next thing you know, the lights turn on and they're back in that bathroom. And you can still
Yeah.
see Gordon's foot that he sawed off,
Mm-hmm.
all of that
Mm-hmm.
shit. So it was kind of like wow, and then they explained kind of what we've been talking a little bit about in the chat here. They explained that a lot of these traps that did call for like surgical prowess and stuff like that, Gordon was helping John do it because
Yeah.
when Gordon survived his trap, Jigsaw said, you survived, you're reborn, yada, 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 and all
Mm-hmm.
that type of stuff. So, but he also asked Gordon, if anything happens to Jill, I want you to act on my behalf immediately. So, this is
Yep.
just basically the failsafe that John had in place. And
Yep.
man, the look on Hoffman's
Priceless.
face was
Right.
priceless. He's like, "What are
Yeah.
you doing? You can't do this to me." And he tries to reach for the hacksaw, and I showed it in our intro. And Gordon
Mm-hmm.
grabs the hacksaw, and I loved it because Cary Elwes is a good actor. He didn't get nearly enough screen time in this, but he looks at the
Mm-hmm.
saw, and then they do the flashback of when he sawed off his own foot in the first movie, and
Yeah.
then he's like, "I don't think so," and
No,
he
because
throws
you,
it.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
That was
what
great.
did first of all, what did you think of this ending and the reveal and how it tied up everything?
It was almost like a poetic ending because he deserved it.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was a great ending. And like I said to you, let's start the next one because it just made me want to see what happened next because I can't remember, damn it. So yeah,
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 yeah. It was rough, man. I just couldn't believe it. And so,
yeah,
the door is shut, and
yep.
all you do is you hear him saying no, and of course
No.
Gordon's like game over.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Ninja saying great way to end the film. It really
Yeah,
was. It really
definitely.
was.
Yep.
Russell saying awesome ending. And
Mm-hmm.
they did Hoffman dirty at the end. Yes, I agree. It was definitely one of those things.
Yeah.
Um, but it was a good ending, and I think this
Hmm.
movie, it checked a lot of boxes. I don't think it was better than six, because I know some folks. I'd had some people asking me that even before the live. I don't think it was better than six, but for a seventh movie, I thought it was pretty good. Pretty darn
Same.
good, actually. I enjoyed it a
Exactly.
lot.
7
Yeah.
movies. And it's like, wow,
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Cody saying, "I really wanna know my question tonight. I want your take." Oh, what question is that? I probably missed it here. And you guys gotta remember, I'm scrolling through a lot of questions. Let me know what it is again, Cody. Sean saying Hoffman may have gone the Eric Matthews route, Saw 10, laugh out loud. Maybe, maybe. Yeah. Gore's in the chat too saying I like all of the first seven, actually. Yeah, I
Nice.
think they're all good. I think they are
Yeah.
all good. I agree with that. Um, but yeah, that being said, you don't have franchises that usually can maintain that type of level through seven movies. So this franchise definitely was able to do a lot of great stuff, man. Seriously.
Hmm.
Cody was saying, "What's a more violent death? Her burning in the thing and Saw, or the girl in Friday 13th burning in the sleeping bag?" They're both bad, man. Anytime you
Yeah, but
burn, it's bad.
I think you saw a little bit more of this chick burning more than the one in the sleeping bag. The
Yeah,
one
I
in the
mean
sleep,
that's yeah,
I love, that killing Friday the 13th. That's one of my favorites is when he does
yeah,
that shit.
yeah.
Smashes him up
Anytime,
against a tree too. And yeah,
yeah, yep,
I can
absolutely.
talk Jason anytime.
That's right.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, but that's pretty much all we have for Saw 7 or Saw the
Yeah.
Final Chapter or Saw 3D. I will say, and I did see this in 3D, and when it came out and so forth, I will say some of the 3D or a lot of the 3D actually was pretty good, man. Like the way they had set it up
That's a
and things were coming
bummer.
at the screen.
Yeah, I wish they'd play this one in the theater because, yeah, it'd be a good one to see because of that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
bad.
Yep. And Dr. Gordon throwing the hacksaw at the end was epic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Ninja saying, I enjoyed most of the Saw films, even Spiral. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
And thanks for the thumbs up, Jason. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
Cody saying Spiral, never seen it. Is it worth watching? Haven't seen Candyman yet either yet.
Yes and yes.
Spiral's definitely worth watching. No
Yeah,
doubt about that. Yeah. But yeah, guys, that's about all we have for Saw 3D. This was a really good movie, seventh movie in the series, and again, Hoffman, just seeing his story playing out was just really, really cool. There's no doubt
yeah,
about that. But we will be continuing our journey into the franchise. We'll be talking about Jigsaw next week, so we hope you guys join us
yeah.
for that. Please give the video a like. That would help to support the channel, and we'd appreciate it. Let us know in the comment section down below what were some of your favorite traps from this movie, and what did you think of Hoffman and his journey throughout these movies? Seemingly ended at the end of this movie, but you never ever know. Stranger things can happen. But let us know in
Yeah.
the comment section down below, and we will catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out.
A church.